The music of the dulcimer is a sound associated with many rural communities in the South. The instrument was being constructed and played well before the United States became a nation. And here in eastern Tennessee, that tradition is alive and well. In the early days of the American Republic, the rolling landscape surrounding the Great Smoky Mountains was home to some of America's first farmers and ranchers. It was also home to a uniquely Appalachian sound created by a uniquely American musical instrument. An instrument called a dulcimer. Connie Clemmer and her husband Mike are well known to dulcimer musicians from all around the world. Working in his small shop in this rural Tennessee community, Mike uses native woods from the forest nearby to create one-of-a-kind musical instruments.
The local woods that I use are the walnut, sassafras, butternut, cherry, a lot of woods like that.
Translated from its Latin origins, the word dulcimer means a sweet song, something that early Appalachian settlers were trying to replicate from the stringed instruments enjoyed by their European ancestors.
Pretty much invented here. It was made here out of necessity to have an instrument. Very few things came over the mountain that didn't get broke, so they had to basically use what they had here to build something.
Mike first began building dulcimers in 1976. It was a hobby then, a hobby that became his life's work as he transitioned from his regular 9-to-5 sales job.
We were empty nesters. And Mike's job of about 9 years was not really going too well. You know, it was kind of going south, and we knew it. And so we were just laying in bed one night, and I just said, honey, you know, if you had a blank check, what would you do? And he said, I'd go back up to Townsend and build dulcimers.
And this is the steam bent walnut. And then when I set it in against the kerfs, after I have the ends put on, and it just flows right in there.
Mike constructs up to 8 dulcimers at a time. Each is a project that takes weeks, turning a musical instrument into a singular work of art.
Well, the back is made out of black walnut, and that is pretty, but actually it has a lot to do with the sound. Where you have a knot is going to be hard, and when it's hard like that, it has a different sound than like a piece here that would be soft. Okay.
Just like those early American dulcimer makers, Mike has taken the basic form and crafted an unusual variation.
And this is something that I invented, I guess now about 11 years ago. Actually, it actually has an opening in the back, and this is a practice pad, drum pad, and then I put that with the dulcimer fingerboard.
Connie's in charge of handling orders on the dulcimers. While some of the instruments will cost hundreds of dollars, there's often a backlog on having enough stock to meet demand.
We've had our struggles, you know, because anytime you have a business that takes off that fast and that grows as fast as it did, you know, you have growing pains, and we've had them.
But it's also the way that Mike and Connie market their dulcimers that helps keep sales humming, like their free concerts.
And now every Saturday night during the season, from the second weekend of May through October, every Saturday night at 7 we have our picking on the porch. And it's just fun. It's all free, and everybody brings their lawn chair, gets in our backyard next to the river, and we just play.
This country connection involves both novice and experienced musicians.
Everybody can get involved. There'll be some sing-alongs, but mainly it's people that come in to do the classes on Saturday will perform, and yeah, it's a really good Saturday evening.
Had you ever played with anybody who played a dulcimer before? Were you?
Never. I was not familiar with the instrument at all, but Mike plays chords, and it just opened up a whole different thing for me. He's an amazing player.
Big ending. There you go. You did good, did good.
Mike says dulcimers tend to sell themselves, especially when folks learn how easy it is to play the instrument.
People will stop by, they've heard of a dulcimer, they've heard the name, somebody has said something about it, but they just wasn't sure. And they'll come in and they'll start playing, we'll get them playing, and they'll leave with one. If you've got a 10-minute attention span, you can learn how to play the dulcimer. It's just basically a series of numbers. And I've had kids that were 6, 7, and 8 sit down and learn how to play, and I've had folks that were in their 80s and 90s that would sit down, always wanted to play something, but never been able to, and sit down and actually play a song or two in about 10 minutes.
Although it took years for Mike to find his life's work, he and Connie say they now have a career that's music to their ears, and a career that carries on a Heartland tradition.
Not just the dulcimer, but the old traditional mountain music, period.
And it's just been a real blessing how God's taken care of all this stuff. Just kept us and kept blessing us.